Let me tell you something, and I want you to hear me, really hear me. As men, we've been taught to fight, to protect, to hold on to what we care about, even when it's breaking us apart from the inside. But listen, there's a quiet voice inside of every man, a whisper buried under pride, ego, and pain. That voice, that's your intuition, your gut, your soul trying to speak some sense into you. But too often, we ignore it, especially when it comes to love. Now, I need you to understand this clearly. If something feels off, it probably is. If she's pulling away, if that spark just ain't burning the same, if the phone's always face down, if her words don't match her actions, it's not just coincidence. It's confirmation. See, our instincts, they don't lie. They speak a language we've forgotten how to hear because we keep silencing ourselves with hope. Hope that she'll turn things around. Hope that you're just being paranoid. Hope that love can fix what's already been shattered. But here's the truth, fellas. Hope without self-worth is a trap. When you're with someone who cheats, who disrespects your loyalty, your understanding, your commitment, it's not your fault. Don't you ever think that it is. But it is your responsibility to listen to that damn voice that's telling you you deserve better. Because you do. You can pour everything you have into a person, your time, your love, your loyalty. And if she still chooses to betray you, then brother, that's got nothing to do with you and everything to do with her. Here's where it gets deeper. We ask, why would she do that? What did I do wrong? Wasn't I enough? That's the wrong question. You were enough. You were too much for somebody who didn't recognize quality when it was standing right next to her. You gotta stop tying your worth to someone else's broken loyalty. A woman who cheats, she reveals something about her soul, not yours. Your intuition told you something was broken, but because you loved her, you overlooked it. That's not weakness, that's connection. That's what makes you human. But love shouldn't cost you your peace. It shouldn't feel like a job interview every time you walk into your own house, wondering if you're still enough. So what do you do when the signs are clear? When the trust is gone? When you know but you won't admit it? You let her cheat. Yeah, I said it. Let her cheat. Not because you're weak, not because you're giving up, but because you value yourself too much to fight over loyalty that should have come standard. You do not beg for the bare minimum. You do not chase when you've been chosen last. You take the pain and you use it, not to hate her, but to love you. More, deeper, stronger. Stand on your name. Stand on your morals. Stand on your God-given value. Because when a man knows his worth, he doesn't go to war over someone who threw a grenade on his peace. Let her make her choices, and let her live with them. But you walk away with your head high. You will cry. You will hurt. But one day, you will look back and be proud that you didn't let betrayal rewrite the script of your manhood. You loved, you lost, but you never lost you. And that's how real men rise. They don't break, they transform.
Fellas, I want you to open your eyes. Not just the ones in your head, but the ones in your soul. Because when something ain't right, it shows. It always shows. But the problem is, we lie to ourselves. We want to believe that the change in her tone, the distance in her eyes, the time she suddenly doesn't have anymore, it's just a phase, right? Just stress, just work, just something we can talk through. And while you're busy convincing yourself it's nothing, the truth is sitting right in front of you, wearing lipstick, smelling like lies, and walking past your peace like it doesn't live in the same house. You ever notice how she used to smile when she saw you, and now it's just a glance? How her phone used to be on the couch, unlocked, casual, and now it's glued to her hand or stashed away like a secret? That ain't love losing its spark. That's intention changing. That's decisions being made without your name in sight. But here's where it gets tricky. See, when someone cheats, especially someone you love, they don't just throw it in your face. No, they get slick. They switch up without saying a word. And that switch? It feels cold. It feels distant. Conversations get short. Affection turns into obligation. Everything becomes routine, but without the romance. She's going through the motions, but her spirit left weeks ago. And I know what you're thinking. Maybe if I just love her a little harder. Maybe if I try more. Maybe if I give her space, she'll come back. That's the trap. That's the false hope that keeps good men stuck in broken rooms trying to fix doors that don't even belong to them anymore. Let me tell you something. Cheating don't start in the bed. It starts in the mind, in the heart, in the silence she gives you when you need her most. It starts when she stops confiding in you like she used to. When she's emotionally checked out, even though she's physically still there beside you. And the coldest part? Most men ignore all of it. Why? Because we don't want to deal with the truth. But the truth, man, it don't care if you're ready. The truth shows up whether you expect it or not. It walks in loud when you're trying to be silent. Those late-night texts she brushes off, the new friend at work she keeps mentioning with a strange smile, the sudden interest in going out without you, getting dressed for the world while leaving you with crumbs of what she used to give. That's the reality showing its face. That's the truth knocking. Now here's what I need you to understand. This ain't about being insecure. This ain't about controlling, doubting, or stalking. This is about being aware, being awake. Loving with both eyes open, because love without discernment leads to destruction. And if you care for yourself, even a little bit, you'll stop making excuses for behavior that eats your spirit alive. There are always signs, my brother, but if you keep ignoring them, you'll stay in a relationship that's already ended in her heart. So listen up. Don't fall in love with potential so hard that you ignore the pattern. Stop telling yourself that you're imagining things when a pattern is calling your name every night with a different energy in the room. A woman who cheats doesn't always shout her betrayal. She whispers it through absence, distraction, coldness, and disconnection. Don't wait for her to admit what your instincts already confirmed, because real power is knowing the truth before it speaks, and having the strength to walk away when silence tells you everything. Let me say this slow so it sinks into your bones. If someone chooses to leave you, let them. That's it. Let them walk. Let them pack their bags, shut that door, and carry their confusion somewhere else. Your value doesn't sit in someone else's hands. You don't have to go running after closure that already came in the form of their absence. You don't chase love that turned its back on you. You don't run after someone who looked you in the eye and still decided you weren't enough for their loyalty. Because real men don't beg to be chosen. They choose themselves every damn time. Now I know, I get it. The heart don't work on logic. You gave her everything. Your time, your energy, your soul. You saw forever with her. You dreamed about her name next to yours. You saw family, future, peace. And just like that, she let go. And that feeling, that sudden emptiness, it'll mess you up. You sit in that quiet house wondering what the hell just happened. You replay everything you did, questioning where it all went wrong. But let me break something to you. Betrayal is never your fault. Disloyalty is a reflection of her, not of you. You can be the most loyal man on earth, the most dependable soul she'll ever meet. And if she's not built for truth, she will still lie, still sneak, still look outside the relationship for something she was too immature to see you already gave her. And when that happens, and she decides she's done, you don't run after that. That ain't strength. That's desperation wearing the mask of love. It's the result of forgetting who the hell you are. A man with dignity doesn't chase after confusion. He doesn't beg for explanations wrapped in deception. He doesn't stretch his heart trying to carry two people in a relationship. When someone chooses to leave you, they're revealing one of life's greatest blessings, clarity. It might come with pain, sure, but it's clarity just the same. It's the moment when silence speaks louder than promises, and walking away becomes more powerful than holding on. The truth is, people come into your life for reasons, seasons, and sometimes lessons. And when a woman cheats, when she dips out with her body or her heart, she's giving you more information than words ever could. She's saying, I don't value what you're giving enough to protect it. She's saying, I made a choice that doesn't involve you. Let that be enough. Because chasing someone who would rather run the streets than grow with you is like watering a dead plant hoping it'll come back to life. It won't.
And the more you try, the more you shrink. The soul was never made to beg. Let her go. Not with hate, not with bitterness, but with dignity. Let her go so you can be free again. Let her go so you can grow in the space where she used to live. Let her go so life can finally introduce you to someone who sees you the way she never could. Brother, stand on faith, not fear. Stand on peace, not pain. Trust that when someone exits your life by choice, they're making room for your next chapter. And your next chapter? It deserves better. It deserves truth. It deserves someone who stays because they want to, not because you begged them to. Let her cheat. Let her go. And walk away like a man who knows he lost nothing. And she lost everything. Because when a man understands what he brings to the table, he stops chasing people who can't even find a seat. A man who truly knows his worth doesn't yell. He doesn't fight for crumbs. He doesn't chase after someone who disrespects him, because he understands something most men forget in the moment of betrayal. Silence with self-respect is louder than rage with broken pride. You feel it burning, I know. That pain in your chest, that fire rising up your throat when lies unfold in front of your face. You want to scream. You want to lash out. You want to corner her with proof and force the truth out. But listen to me now. Not every battle deserves your energy. Some betrayals don't need confrontation. They need closure within. What does it say about a man who finds out she's been cheating, lying, sneaking, and all he does is look at her, then look at himself, and walk away? It says control. It says conviction. It says dignity multiplied by discipline. It says you don't get to ruin me just because you failed to respect me. Because see, when you explode, when you break character, when you let her see you fall apart, you give her the power one more time. And if she cheated on you, she's already taken enough. Don't let her take your peace too. You don't need to break things. You don't need to scream in the street or flood her phone with messages that only make her feel important. You don't need to post your pain or prove she was wrong, because the truth always comes out and karma always circles back. You only need one thing: self-respect. Let her sit with the weight of what she's done. Let her realize that your silence isn't weakness, it's power. When you know who you are, you don't have to shout. You don't have to expose anybody. You become the lesson. Your absence becomes her consequence. That's the difference between a boy broken by betrayal and a man built by character. When you carry yourself with calm in the middle of chaos, you teach people something. You teach her that not every man will let pain pull him out of position. That not every man is going to fall apart just because love failed him. You don't always need to confront the cheater, because sometimes life will. Let truth get heavy in her chest. Let guilt do the talking for you while you move in silence, working on you, reclaiming time, elevating purpose. And yes, I know silence can be the hardest thing, especially when you got a heart full of love that turned to confusion, when you never thought she'd be the kind of woman to do you like that, when you wanted forever, and she gave you a lie wrapped in a smile. But that's the storm where men are made, and men built through storms don't cry over torn umbrellas. They learn to walk taller through the rain. Hold your peace like it's a weapon, because it is. When you refuse to lower yourself to chaos, to games, to shouting matches filled with regret, you're cutting off her access to your power. And that right there is what she didn't expect. She expected you to beg. She expected tears, drama, madness. But instead, give her something she doesn't know how to respond to: growth. So next time you feel that fire rising, ask yourself, does this moment define my manhood, or does my response? Because real men don't scream to be heard. They walk away and let their silence say everything that needs to be said. There's a kind of pain no words can fix. A heartbreak so deep it doesn't speak in tears or anger. It speaks in silence. That numb sort of silence where you sit on the edge of your bed, staring at a phone that won't ring, trying to understand how someone who said they loved you could turn around and betray you without looking back. You don't eat right. You don't sleep right. You still smell her perfume on the pillow. You still hear her laugh in empty rooms. You replay every moment, every kiss, every late-night conversation, wondering what was real and what was already a lie. But here's the truth. Healing don't come from revenge. It don't come from shouting into a void. It comes from stillness. It comes from silence. And most of all, It comes from choosing to rise, not just to be stronger, but to be wiser. You see, after the heartbreak, after the betrayal, there's a sacred space, a crossroads. The world won't see it. No one will clap you on the back or celebrate your quiet war. But that's where the battle really begins. Not with her, but with yourself. It's in the quiet moments when you could call her, knowing she doesn't deserve it. When you could waste your breath asking her why, but you already know the answer wouldn't change the damage. It's in that split second when you decide, I won't carry this pain. I'll process it. I won't hide from this. I'll heal from it. Healing in silence isn't weakness. It's mastery. Because when you cut off the noise, you start hearing your own voice again. The voice telling you that you deserve real love, not counterfeit loyalty. That your time is valuable. That your purpose is bigger than one person who didn't see you for the man you are. When you heal in private, you stop performing your pain for a crowd that doesn't know your story. And when you grow in that space, you don't rise for revenge. You rise for redemption. For you. Growth isn't loud. It's quiet. It's those early mornings when you force yourself out of bed, brush off the hurt, and put one foot in front of the other. It's staying off her page. It's deleting her number. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not broken. I'm healing. You might not feel like it right away, but every day you pick yourself up, even when you don't want to, is a win. Every time you don't react, every time you forgive without returning, every time you choose peace over pettiness, you step closer to the man you were meant to become. Then something wild happens. One day you wake up and the heaviness isn't there. You don't think about her first thing in the morning. You don't need answers. You don't need closure. Because you realize you were the closure. You showing up for you. You refusing to become bitter. You learning, growing, adjusting, evolving, all in silence. That kind of growth? It's rare. It's real. It's the kind that builds legacy, not just survival. Because it wasn't just about getting over her. It was about remembering yourself. The man you wanted to be before she walked into your life. The man who rises with purpose now, using the pain as fuel and the silence as strength. Your purpose is still alive, even after betrayal. Your next season won't look like your last. Don't sit in what hurt you. Rise into what'll heal you. Because the man who grows from what broke him becomes the man no one can break again. Pain is a cruel teacher, but one thing it always offers is a lesson. And when life cuts you deep, when betrayal breaks your chest wide open, when love walks out without warning, you've got two options. You let it destroy you, or you let it define you. But I'm talking to the man who's ready to let it refine him. Because just because you've been hurt doesn't mean you lower your standards. Just because she lied doesn't mean you stop being loyal. Just because she turned on you doesn't mean you become bitter. You see, pain is not the enemy. It's the ignition. It's the beginning of a transformation. But if you don't control it, it starts controlling you. A man betrayed can easily fall into the trap of becoming what hurt him. Cold, distant, cruel. He starts playing the same games that broke him. Starts giving his time to women who don't deserve it. Starts moving reckless with his energy. And somewhere along the way, he loses himself trying to punish someone who already walked away. But real character is forged in chaos. Who you are does not shine in comfort. It shines in crisis. When that heart breaks and grief steps in, when abandonment leaves you questioning your reflection, when the truth comes out and it's uglier than you imagined, that's when your real self is exposed. Because it's easy to be patient when life is peaceful. But can you be loyal to your values when it's storming? Can you move with integrity when everything in you wants to snap? Can you hold your line when your soul is screaming to retaliate? A weak man lets what happens to him turn him into someone he was never meant to be. But a wise man? He takes that fire and sharpens himself with it. He turns anguish into awareness. He takes the pain of being lied to, used, and played, and he builds discipline. He sharpens his focus on what matters: peace, power, legacy. He stops looking at the past and starts building for the future. He stops chasing clarity from people who were born to bring confusion. He stops waiting on apologies from broken souls. Instead, he puts all that energy into purpose, into himself. You think going cold makes you a man? No. Real manhood is standing face to face with the pain and still choosing not to become the villain. Still choosing faith over fear. Still choosing discipline over destruction. You don't let betrayal harden your heart. You make it smarter. You don't let lies teach you to lie back. You use the lesson to upgrade your standards. Because when your focus sharpens, your vision clears. And when your vision clears, you stop entertaining what you've outgrown. Eventually, the storm settles. And when it does, you'll thank that pain. Not because you wanted it, but because it revealed what was hidden. It introduced you to yourself. It uncluttered your circle. It fine-tuned your spirit. And that betrayal, that setback, it becomes your training ground, not your identity. So no, don't let pain define you. Let it remind you. Remind you of who you've always been underneath the love, the heartbreak, the noise. Let it point you toward your purpose, not your past. Because when a man turns pain into focus, he becomes unstoppable. Not because he's angry, but because he's evolved.